Getting stuck at the light here at Cass and Auburn could prove to be very frustrating. Why drivers are saying this light could cost you a few extra minutes in your day. A massive sinkhole has opened up here on Hayes Road in between 23 and 24 Mile. I'll tell you plans to fix and reopen this road, and meanwhile why drivers should be cautious. You may be seeing several used cars for sale around town, and maybe you're in the market for purchasing one. But before you do, there's one important warning buyers need to be aware of before the big payout. Shelby Township residents and its Board of Trustees have bought themselves a little more time to get state legislation involved and help shut down this oil drilling site for good. Shelby residents are in an uproar after an oil drilling company began exploiting land right here in their own backyard. West Bay Exploration is the company in charge of drilling at this hot spot on 25 in DeQuinder, and residents say they had no idea something like this could even happen in Shelby Township.
We weren't aware. I don't think this is fair to pull this over on us when something like this is huge.
And these residents say they will stop at nothing to end the drilling. Nearly 1,000 people gathered at the Palazzo Grande Wednesday night to get their questions answered.
I'm very concerned about what it's going to do to our health, our environment.
But township board meetings will only get them so far. They're going to have to take their concerns to the state.
We have no say-so on anything. It's really the state law that's driving this wagon. So until we change that state law, it's going to remain pretty much, kind of like the way it is now, which means that they can drill just about anywhere they want, including on residential property.
However, Shelby Township was able to put a moratorium on this job site, temporarily prohibiting further drilling. While residents' concerns about noise, home depreciation, and added traffic are valid, one thing they do not need to fear is an explosion.
It is a very safe and regulated industry. Obviously, accidents happen. There are things that you can't avoid. But for the situation that's going on there, we are monitoring it. The fire marshal and I are there almost on a daily basis now. The risk for a fire explosion is low, and they are operating within all the fire code, all the safety codes. Everything is very compliant.
West Bay has assured the township and residents that any oil found will be transported at least 4 miles away from all residential areas, keeping unsightly and disruptive elements away from the community. But residents say they won't be happy until West Bay is gone for good. Reporting for Shelby This Week, I'm Katie Ciaramitaro.
No residential drilling! No residential drilling! No residential.
Fed up Shelby residents took their concerns to the Capitol earlier this week, protesting one major problem that's right in their backyards. This oil drill is the root of the problem, and their message to lawmakers is very clear: stop residential oil drilling.
We're not against drilling. We're just against drilling in residential areas.
We are not against oil and gas well drilling. We're not that group. We are a group that's up for responsible oil and gas well drilling. And you have to respect local property owners, local neighborhoods, local citizens. You can't just come in and say, oh, we're drilling for oil. You can't do that for any other thing. Why should they be given that free pass?
Senator Brandenburg and Representative Lund have introduced a bill to prevent oil drilling in neighborhoods with populations of 70,000 or more people. And protesters want to make sure their voices, along with local government's voices, are heard, and that this bill is finally passed to make residential oil drilling illegal.
It's legal, but it's not moral, and it certainly is not ethical.
We want it up to the townships to have the first say. Right now, the state of Michigan has had the first say and only say.
West Bay Exploration, the company in charge of drilling in Shelby Township and several other residential areas, has temporarily halted drilling in Shelby. But residents say they will not be happy until this bill is passed and residential drilling ends for good. Reporting for Shelby This Week, I'm Katie Ciaramitaro. Guns, ammunition, and charity. The annual Cops and Clays charity shoot held by the North Macomb Sportsman's Club went off with a bang. Police officers and civilians from across the state came out to support the event and benefit the Thin Blue Line of Michigan, a nonprofit organization that provides medical, legal, and financial aid to members of law enforcement and has been the beneficiary of this event for the past several years.
It's been very successful every year. I believe Scott Simpson from Shelby Township Police Department could probably give you more on numbers and how much it's raised. But it helps tremendously.
It was an emotional year after losing two very important members. Stephen Thorpe, the chairman of the event, passed away back in April. Following his death, Lori Reinecker, founder of the Thin Blue Line of Michigan, passed away after battling cancer just 1 week prior to the event.
It's been tough on us. Everybody here at the club was affected by both of those people. So this year's, it's kind of hard.
Scott Simpson, a Shelby Township police officer, is proudly following in Stephen Thorpe's footprints, running the event and raising a generous amount of money for a great cause.
The first year we ran it, we were able to write a check to the Thin Blue Line of Michigan for right around $10,000. Last year we raised right around $13,000 for a one-day event. And according to the Thin Blue Line of Michigan, this event is their largest single fundraiser for the year.
And this year they raised nearly $14,000. Now it's time to see if I have what it takes to shoot a gun and join the cause. After a brief lesson and some minor hurdles, I was finally ready to pull the trigger, and I understand the passion behind the event. The event allows you to have a great time while giving back to those who put themselves on the line to protect us every day. To find out more about the Cops and Clays charity shoot or to get involved next year, visit northmacombmi.gov. Reporting for Shelby This Week, I'm Katie Ciaramitaro.
We're in dire need of new equipment.
The Utica Fire Department is using equipment more than 2 decades old, making the job potentially dangerous for the firefighters.
Our air packs that we use today, they still meet the standard of when they were built, but they don't meet today's standards, and the parts for our packs now are unavailable. So if we have a pack that goes out of service, our repair company takes it with them now because they're no longer any good to us, and he can't let it sit around here for somebody to use.
Desperate for a grant, the Utica Fire Department took it upon themselves to write a detailed narrative stating new equipment was vital for the health and welfare of both working firefighters and civilians. In fact, this is the narrative that the Utica Fire Department wrote to receive the $46,000 grant to get some new and much needed equipment.
The grant was for $49,000 is what we applied for. It's $46,550 from the federal government, and we have to have a $25,50 match for a new compressor, which is going to help us out greatly. And hopefully we're not totally out of the running for the air packs. Haven't gotten a no letter yet from them, so hopefully we're still in the running. So, we got our fingers crossed.
After being denied a portion of the state's revenue in 2013, Utica has been struggling to pay their expenses.
We're between the biggest rock and a hard place we've ever been. So every bit of grant funding we can get will be well used and will be used for the public and the public that lives here, does business here, plays here, or is just passing through.
The city of Utica, along with their fire department, are grateful for any and all grant money they receive. However, they say it will take years and much more money to fully upgrade all of their equipment. Reporting for Shelby This Week, I'm Katie Ciaramitaro.